What's going on, guys? It's Chev, back here on some more Modern Warfare 2. Sorry for not uploading yesterday. I did, however, get some stuff done, but I've also made a good amount of progress in a randomizer run. I think I'm going to take this randomizer run and try to make it into one video, but I don't really know because I never really put a video together. I have an idea of how I want to present the video, right? It's definitely more in the form of like Dark Souls style, where like it's an entire story. Like the video could be like 20 minutes long. I have a lot of clips. I'm trying to like compile them together and like build an entire story arc around it. Very ambitious, to be honest with you. So I'm on tier 1 at the moment, and from the title of this video, I'm gonna assume it has something to do with the mastery camo stuff. I did complete every single secondary in the game. It's all done, all the pistols, the melee, all the launchers, all that stuff. Also, obviously, people know that I've gotten over 20 of the things so far, so if I gotta say what the hardest secondary was to get, just in general, out of all the secondaries in the game, no doubt in my mind is the Joker the hardest one to do. No doubt. It's honestly, the Joker is probably the hardest in the game, just because of the sheer amount of time it takes for the rocket to even come down, and you basically just kind of have to predict where people are. Or, in this case, on shipment, you just shoot it at any corner. Someone will be there. I know that they're meant to remove the holiday shipment, I think tomorrow or today or something. Oh, no, I think they already removed holiday shipment, so I was really afraid that when they were removing holiday shipment that they would end up removing the shipment playlist. I'll be honest with you, though. I think shipment keeps multiplayer alive. I know that there are some people out there that feel like shipment, like, takes away from the whole experience and everything, but if the experience in general in the first place was better, the maps wouldn't be in the discussion. We're only talking about the maps and stuff because the base game is just simply not that great. So some people feel like, you know, oh, shipment trivializes everything and it hurts this and does all that other stuff, but they also at the same time, like, don't even view multiplayer in general as a whole as its own thing. They see it as an accessory to Warzone. I've said this so many times. Some people felt like, oh, well, if shipment just straight up wasn't in the game, then everybody would play all the other maps, and that would be basically forced to play. You see that? The issue is that even if shipment didn't exist, which obviously it didn't exist for its initial launch and the first weeks and everything, we didn't have it in the game. I don't think these maps are the worst maps or whatever. I think these maps are better than Modern Warfare 2019's, just in my opinion. I just feel like they are. Don't think about the movement, don't think about TTK, all that stuff. I just think the maps in general on MW2 make a lot more sense and have a lot more flow than the Modern Warfare 2019 maps did. You'll still have the problem of people not enjoying the maps though, like, because people are not massive fans of all the maps on this game. Call of Duty, you know, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, all of them seem to have lost a little bit of their mojo when it comes to, you know, map creation. Literally all of them. Some are better than others. Modern Warfare 2019 is absolutely, they probably have the worst maps ever created next to, like, what, Ghosts? Don't think it's just a coincidence that those are both Infinity Ward games either. I'm just saying. But I was afraid that they were going to end up removing the shipment playlist here, because obviously they're not going to remove the map itself. It's in here. It's done. In terms of like content and like the amount of support that is given to it, it pales in comparison, it feels. Although I don't think Warzone 2 has had a ton of like amazing updates or anything like that, in my opinion. I don't feel like anything major has happened to Warzone 2. I know that they have improved some things on Warzone 2, but at the same time, it feels like none of it really mattered, because it's not fixing the things that people are really that annoyed with. But then you also see like the whole groups of people that are saying streamers and content creators are the ones that are out of touch, and people are saying things like, oh, just adapt. But it's just odd to me, because when you remove skill gaps from the game, right, and you make it so like worse players are able to kill better players, worse players are able to actually kill better players because this gap isn't, you know, that big or whatever. But design wise, business wise, it makes sense to make a game like that so everybody feels like they're at least somewhat good at the game. And if you're not good enough in the first place to even recognize what really is good and what isn't, and I know people think like that too, because they really do think just because somebody's good, they're cheating. Like, people genuinely do believe that streamers and YouTubers and other shit are actually cheating. But it is so obvious that a lot of these people just aren't. I'm just saying, you can't stream to like multiple thousands of people and actually get away with it. You don't need somebody to study it and like break down clips and all this other shit. You really don't need it. It's very obvious. It's just people have a lot of like really disingenuous and intellectually dishonest conversations around it. Oh, you've never heard of this streamer that was caught? How could you say that? None of them cheat. I mean like real actual big streamers. And then they'll like name somebody that had like maybe a couple hundred viewers or some shit like that, and they were like calling them a quote big streamer. It's just super disingenuous. You could go down the whole rabbit hole. It's a whole like playbook that they have. It's just completely brain dead. I was afraid that they were gonna remove shipment 24/7 or make it so it's like shoot house 24/7 or something, and I'm gonna have to like sit there and cycle through everything in order to get shipment, because I know for a fact that if and when they do remove shipment 24/7, it's not like shoot house is bad or shoot the ship is bad. Why did you shoot me, man? Removing shipment 24/7 completely slows everybody down. I'd say that if you were operating on like a timeline, having to sit there and cycle through just 2 maps, supposed to be a 50-50, but what ends up happening is that everybody ends up backing out and shoot the ship, and only the people that need long shots and things like that are currently working on long shot challenges will want to play shoot house, whereas everybody else wants to be on shipment. So it results in people just all leaving the games, and the only games that you're able to join that are in progress will almost always be shoot house because people are backing out of it. Why does my teammate keep shooting me? They've done it every single time whenever they've gone and added the smaller map or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like with Warzone not doing as well as they had probably hoped, it's got a lot of players, don't get me wrong, but with it not doing as well as they would hope, I feel like they also see that whenever they remove shipment out of multiplayer, there's probably a player drop, in multiplayer particularly. So with one of the populations not looking as good as they want it to look, why would they want to go and weaken another portion that they've already actively been undermining over the years anyway? I'm hoping that with this potential, like, quote, scare to them, this whole thing where it feels like it's lighting a fire underneath of them, I hope that it makes them look around and think that maybe, just maybe, it's a possibility that Call of Duty got this popular not through Warzone. It got this popular through multiplayer. And I understand, oh, you got to move on and all this other stuff, but what I'm saying is they could, like, try to reinvent how multiplayer is. You know what I mean? Instead of it being bogged down and affected by the idea of another mode that they're making, like how the multiplayer has been since Warzone, everything feels like designed from its base is from something that isn't multiplayer. And again, I mean, if you give them any excuses to work even less, then not to say that they don't work, but more so I should say that it's become part of the process to release games not finished. So it definitely doesn't look good. You could literally put like 10 pro players on this map and tell them to play out a CDL match, a quote competitive match, and it's still not competitive. This is not a competitive map, so don't expect me to compete competitively. There's also a weird disconnect between like what people even considered a like pro. People for whatever reason think that like if you're a streamer you're a pro, or if you're like a content creator you're a pro, or if you're on like a team you're a pro. The people just don't even understand. They're too new, they don't get it. So like their entire perspective, just like at its base, is it's already shaky and completely misunderstood. They, from a basic standpoint, do not understand the difference in good versus like semi-pro versus actual pro versus like a pub star versus all this. They just simply don't know about the differences or like what they even entail. They just don't know. These people, they've never been on game battles. They've never, like, you know what I mean? They don't understand like the nuances and stuff. I've had people say things like, oh, there's like a lot of cognitive dissonance, but while there may be, absolutely, this game gives you full-blown brain rot, it's not just saying things to say them. They're happening. I knew as soon as I started going into the fully autos though, and my score per minute starts flying up, it's just in so much trouble.
We lost the lead, man.
I'm so happy we won that tournament. It was awesome playing with these incredible players. Everyone was trying their hardest, using their best loadouts, not doing any challenges at all, just trying their best to win. Give me a break. Yeah, so handguns, I mean, they're all pretty good in this game. I really wouldn't say that any of them are bad. I'd say that the X13 autos are probably like the ones that I had the least amount of fun with, but I was tapping people with this, tapping people with this, tapping people with this, tapping people with this, and then these were kind of a little shaky or whatever, whether it's in, you know, tier 1 or regular core. It's just, you know, eh. Then we got all the launchers as well. Pila, it's not too bad, but it's very, very slow. The blast radius is really nice. The Strela is a bit faster, but the blast radius is very, very small, but not too bad. The Joker absolutely was the most annoying secondary to do in the entire game, and RPG, I genuinely don't even remember. It's just great. It basically does everything that you want it to do. These launchers are actually not even good at shooting things down. You are actually better off just running around with a weapon that can just shoot things down with, like, you know, armor piercing rounds or whatever it is. These are not good for shooting down kill streaks, ironically enough. They're not good at it. They're just not. Counter UAVs and stuff like that, why bother when I can put like 10 bullets from a pistol and destroy it? Why would I shoot like 5 to 6 Strelas at a VTOL when I could just look up and empty like 30 rounds into it and it's gone, instead of dying 3 or 4 times trying to replenish my Strela launcher and shooting it directly with it, or sitting around waiting for lock-ons or anything like that? Like, they're just not good. Shooting it with a weapon is much faster. And then obviously the combat knife. I wish the combat knife in general was a little bit bigger. I know that obviously that there are, you know, bundles and stuff like that that can overall change it, but I don't like the default knife in terms of just the way that it looks. The knife in general is actually pretty good. You get really, really fast movement speed on a game where movement speed is really, really lacking, so you're able to surprise people with the combat knife, with the move speed and being able to cut around corners and stuff like that. You can do a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's every single secondary in Modern Warfare 2 done, along with a couple other primary classes that I have done, but I figured, you know, that's a whole milestone. That's all done. I finished the one thing last night. I'm about to finish another one of the marksman rifles and, you know, start finishing that out. I was doing one of the battle rifles, as you guys saw there, the one Lockman. So the battle rifles are next. And then after that, either LMGs, SMGs, ARs, not sure. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the videos. And yeah, it's been Jeff, guys. Later.